Okay, so in the last video example, we looked at how we would go through and actually what would happen if we had a defined size for our grid items, and we saw that they don't necessarily automatically fill the entire content area. What we're going to talk about in this one, which is the number 6 one, which is for auto-filling the grid items, is how to make that actually be a little bit different in terms of what it is that we're doing here. So in other words, we're going to automatically fill the space within the grid container with items that can reflow if the content changes. So I'm going to grab my style sheet over here from the autofill grid. Right now we've just been using this grid template columns command to be able to have these things fill up the space. I'm going to use a slightly different command, and I'm going to use this repeat command instead. So this will overwrite this code, and what it is it's the grid template columns command, and then the repeat takes an argument here that's within parentheses. So the logic here is that this says autofill 200 pixels, so this is automatically going to fill my area with as many 200 pixel wide grid columns as it can. So if we look at this in the inspector, what we can see is that these are then, grid items here that are 200 pixels wide, and we have, as many of them as we can fill in this space. So if this area gets smaller, if this content area gets smaller, I don't know why I didn't make that responsive, it would fill with fewer columns. So the issue that we run into here obviously is that the container that these columns are in is larger, so we get a little gap at the end here. What we can do to fix that is we can use a min-max command, which will actually fix up those gaps that we have here. So I'm going to copy and paste it from over here. If you're typing it at home, please make sure that the parentheses balance out, because bad things happen if they don't. Your grid layout will just kind of blow up and it'll look kind of sad. So it's the grid template columns command, and it's the repeat setting again, and then the autofill will automatically fill it with items that are in this min-max command. So this is what I mean about the parentheses balancing. Min-max takes its own set of arguments, so a 200 pixel column or up to one fraction of the space. So it'll automatically fill with as many of those as it can. And as the size of this layout changes, so too will the size of the grid elements that are here inside of it. So pretty simple, and that's how you would actually have these things get to be wider and smaller as we go along and as we change this up. Okay, I don't know why I didn't add this before. We'll just set a width here on my cards item itself so that we can see this getting bigger and smaller and collapsing as these things go along. So, yep. So we can see that these layouts are going to change here, and then as it gets wider, if I zoomed out here a little bit, now it's now still set to 80% though, that we have change in the number of grid column items that we have here. Okay, let's go ahead and pause there. We'll move along to the next one.